And then gophers are a huge problem throughout the Bay Area. Exclusion is a really good, is really the best way to work with them. So gophers live underground. They rarely come up. They eat the roots of plants. They're vegetarian. They eat the plant roots. Sometimes you can see, if you're looking out at your garden and you see a plant like shaking, it could mean that there's a gopher trying to eat it. And sometimes they can even be pulled down all the way down into their holes. So to avoid that, you're going to want to use gopher baskets. So any new plantings should go in a gopher basket, or you can use 1/2-inch hardware cloth. There are also these gopher baskets that are sold at hardware stores and nurseries that you just they're flat, they're sold flat, and you open them up, and you want to get one that's a little bit bigger than your plant, so your plant has the ability to grow into it. They sell them for as big as for trees as well. Those pre-made ones are designed to break down in a few years, so that when your plant is established and as it grows, it can get bigger than the gopher basket, but by that time, it will be less susceptible to gopher damage. We're really concerned about our new plantings. Also, if you have a raised bed, if you're installing a raised bed, you want to line it all the way up the side with 1/2-inch hardware cloth or gopher wire. And you can tell if you have gophers because they leave crescent-shaped mounds with a little plug on the side. It's kind of hard to tell, but look for fresh mounds. Moles also create mounds. They're more look like volcanoes, conical. Moles actually don't eat plants. They eat grubs in the garden, so they're going to likely cause more damage to your lawn. They eat grubs and insects. So if you see tunnels or mounds, but there's no plant damage, you likely have moles. Voles also are a problem, but they have shallow burrows, and they will create very shallow runways. They kind of live on the surface with dense brush over them. If you have issues with them, the best way to work with them is with a repellent, and you want to have use a repellent that has castor oil in it, like Molemax or this Tomcat gopher and mole repellent. You're going to definitely need to apply it multiple times because they are very pernicious pests and they will come back. But there has been some success with these repellents. There was also traps made for gophers, moles, and voles. You want to make sure you're not using rat traps or mouse traps for them, that you want to use specific gopher traps. They can be a little tricky to set, so if you're not comfortable, there are YouTube videos to show you how to set them, and you can also call a professional that can do it because you need to get the trap inside the tunnel, so it can be a little tricky. Other urban critters like raccoons and squirrels are very difficult to control. I hate to say it. The main goal is exclusion and removing food sources. So again, we're not using bird feeders. We're not free feeding our animals. We're taking in all of our pet food at night. Reminding you that it is illegal to feed wild animals, which includes raccoons and other wild animals, and that also includes leaving food out for your domesticated animals. So even though you're not intentionally feeding urban critters, if you are by feeding your pets outside and all night, that is against California code. So raccoons tend to eat, they cause a lot of damage. If you have a lawn and you see like your lawn being pulled back, or like your sod sections being pulled back or rolled up, that's likely a raccoon. They eat grubs in the ground. So that's why they're really good with their hands, so they'll pull back the sod to do that. You have issues with that. In the spring, what you could do is use a spray of beneficial nematodes, which will kill the grubs in the lawn. We can talk more about that in spring, or if you have any questions, let me know. But for now, you can use, like this photo shows the use of poultry wire over your turf. So this is really, you can also use bird netting over your whole lawn if that helps. Poultry wire is good if the raccoon is only pulling up a section of the lawn. You can just put this poultry wire, stake it down with irrigation stakes, and put it over that corner. Squirrels are also a big problem, and they're kind of, I'm not going to say impossible to deal with, but they're very tricky. So barriers like bird netting can keep squirrels away from your fruit trees, and again, avoiding bird feeders.